This is Evgeni Malkin, and at his absolute peak, he was one of the most dominant forces the modern NHL had seen. Malkin has done everything: 2 Art Ross trophies, a Hart, Calder, and most importantly, 3 Stanley Cups. Now, Malkin has become the 48th player in NHL history to score 500 goals and just the 20th player to do it with one team. For years, Evgeni Malkin has been the league's most underappreciated and at times disrespected NHL superstar. In 2017, the NHL left Evgeni Malkin off the top 100 players of all time list. And last season, ESPN didn't even consider him a top 100 current player in the league. Despite all the disrespect and regression in production due to age for Mr. 101, Evgeni Malkin is currently leading the league in scoring at 38 years old. To be this good for this long is something we rarely see in this sport. But by adjusting his game, he is slowing down the effects of Father Time. Today's video is sponsored by War Thunder. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made, and it's now available for free on PC and consoles. Immerse yourself in intense combat with incredibly detailed vehicles, stunning graphics, and authentic sound effects. Command over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships from 10 major nations, spanning across the 1920s biplanes to modern fighter jets and battle tanks. You can join over 70 million players worldwide in epic PvP battles. Packed with content, War Thunder is a must-play for military history fans. I personally love how there are 3 game modes: arcade, realistic, and simulator, so there's something for everyone. I usually stick with arcade mode for the fast-paced excitement, even if I play like an absolute bot. No matter how you choose to play War Thunder for free on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox, make sure to use my link in the video description. New and returning players that haven't played in 6 months will also receive a massive bonus pack across all platforms, including multiple premium vehicles, the exclusive vehicle decorator Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of a premium account. So make sure you use the link below, as it's available for a limited time only. In a league that is dominated by youth and speed, the 5th oldest player in the NHL leads the league in scoring with 11 points in 5 games. But after his worst statistical season in terms of point per game last year, Evgeni Malkin has looked like he's found the fountain of youth early this season. So what exactly has changed in his game? Well, in order to understand how Malkin can take over a game in the present NHL, we have to look at what made him so special over the years. When Malkin was in his prime, he was the definition of a one-man army. One-on-one, there was very few players in the game who could manipulate a defender the way that Malkin could. At 6'3", his game always relied on the perfect combination of speed, skill, and size. In his prime, it wasn't out of the ordinary to see him go through you or around you with ease. And when one-on-one, Malkin was the king of attacking the heels of a defender to get their toe caps going in the wrong direction. Just when you thought you had an angle on him, he'd do a quick cut back through the triangle of a defender's stick or legs, and he'd have players on the wrong end of a highlight reel for months. But Father Time has caught up to Malkin's game in some ways. Multiple ACL repairs combined with just wear and tear and age have taken its toll on the speed that has allowed Malkin to have a step off the rush. This has led to a realization by both Malkin and the Penguins coaching staff. In a rut where he only recorded 14 points in 22 games through January and February of last season, both Malkin and coach Mike Sullivan knew that something had to change. Malkin admitted he wanted to play a quote-unquote smarter game. But what does that even mean for a guy who's won everything both individually and as a team? Well, Penguins coach Mike Sullivan detailed it exactly last season.
Played a lot of games in this league. He has a lot of experience, and I think it's important that he used that experience to play a more efficient game and make it easier on himself. And a lot of that is just understanding what the scheme is and working collectively with the 4 other guys on the ice, so that there's collective effort and he's not just taking the puck and doing his thing as a one-man band, so to speak. He's capable of that at times, but I think he's also capable of playing within the framework of the team concept. And I think when he does that, he doesn't chase the game as much. I think the game comes to him, and then he has the ability to act on his talent.
For Malkin, having to dial back the individual creativity and skill that has made him a future Hall of Famer is a big adjustment. But late last year and early into this season, Malkin has tweaked his style to be more complementary not only to the Penguins' systems, but also to his age. This has been evident as he's looked far more efficient in his touches, both even strength and on the power play. First, let's look at this 5-on-5 play and zone entry from Malkin against Montreal. Getting the pass here and some space to operate, we can already tell the paradigm shift with Malkin's attack on the rush. A younger Gino would be more open to entertaining the idea of going right at this defender and engaging in a one-on-one. We've seen that time and time again from him, but that is a young man's game. Instead, Malkin uses that soft gap that the defenders give him in the middle, and he sets up a pretty good one-time chance. Now, the superstars are made without the puck, and Malkin keeps his feet moving here and attacks the net, and the rebound actually pops out right to him, but if it's not for some good defensive desperation, it's likely a goal. Now, if you fast forward a little bit on this same shift, we have a 50-50 puck with Malkin coming in for support. It doesn't work out initially, but his routes stay efficient, and he lets the F2 and F3 seal off the lanes. Now, when the pressure is too much for the Habs puck carrier that he has to turn back, that is when Malkin dives in for support to cause more havoc. Now that the Penguins have possession, watch him wait patiently and stay extremely close for support all the way down the wall. Before he touches the puck, he takes a lightning quick scan with his head to process where his F3 or high man is in the slot. And then as soon as that puck arrives to him, it's delivered out in front of the goal right away to end up in the back of the net. For Coach Mike Sullivan, this goal checks off all the boxes. Malkin plays within structure, he uses his teammates, and then the elite offensive talent has the opportunity to take over. This off-puck play and more efficient approach isn't new this season. When the Penguins went on that sick run near the end of last season, Malkin had 14 points in the final 11 games with 5 multi-point efforts in that stretch. With Malkin still at center, the line of Rickard Rakell and Michael Bunting have done wonders for extending his game. Like we've seen, Malkin doesn't have the speed to carry the load by himself on the rush anymore, but as an elite talent, he slowed the game down to his pace. Take this rush play here. Malkin gets the puck flat-footed at the blue line. He gains the zone, sucks in the attacker, and then just uses a cheeky dish into the middle for Bunting to attack with speed. It ends up being a goal because Malkin has leveraged the speed of his wingers. This play right here is what we call learning on the fly, as Malkin briefly thinks he's back in 08, and he gets stripped of the puck trying to do it all himself. But his IQ gets him right back into the correct spot for him to attack again off the rush. Now with possession, of course he doesn't have a ton of speed, but instead of trying to do it all himself again, he goes east-west to buy some time for reinforcements and slows the game down to his pace, and ultimately it creates a goal. In his younger days, his size and speed made him a problem on the forecheck, but now he has to rely on his wingers to use their speed to create some havoc. But where he can shine now is as the F3. Instead of his speed and physicality creating the turnovers, he's disrupting plays by having a more cerebral approach. Of course, a guy who's done this so well for so many years is his teammate Sidney Crosby. Crosby has played this more cerebral style of hockey since coming into the league, and it's why his game has aged like fine wine. And that's not to say that Malkin's game wasn't cerebral. He knew how to use his tool set better than anyone, but at his peak, his skill set, size, and speed was overwhelming for most defenders, and that allowed him to play a far more aggressive and straightforward style of game. Now, we see Malkin playing a more similar style to Sid. It's only fitting that these two also reach simultaneous milestones in the same game. And on Malkin's historic 500th career goal, it's a perfect example of two brains working faster than everyone else's feet. This is a Penguins power play, and as a penalty kill, there are certain triggers when the killers have the green light to get aggressive and attack the puck carrier. The main trigger is when a player has their back to the middle of the ice and is on their backhand. This is because most players aren't exceptional at handling rimmed or bobbled pucks. Knowing the pressure is coming right away, Malkin bumps this down low to Crosby, and now this is just a foot race. He gets on his horse and instantly attacks the space that the defender had to leave to get aggressive. Crosby, knowing that he'll face the immediate pressure for all the same reasons, turns to take contact and makes a no-look pass between the legs right to Malkin's stick. The finish is where the elite individual skill takes over. By playing within structure and being more efficient with his possessions, Malkin isn't chasing the game like his coach said. It's simply coming to him. Of course, you can still see flashes of how silky Malkin can be on zone entries. And because he's one of the greater talents the game has ever seen, he can still pull off these types of plays even at the age of 38. To score 500 goals in the NHL is something only 48 other players have done in league history, which kind of seems absurd for a player who was snubbed from the NHL's top 100 list. Whether or not Malkin can keep up this pace and play remains to be seen. He had a hot start last season too, but then his play fell off. Either way, a 38-year-old Evgeni Malkin sits on top of the NHL as the scoring leader. And although father time comes for everyone, both of these guys continue to defy all the odds. Big thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Make sure you check out the game on PC, Xbox, or PlayStation using the link in the description. New players and returning players from at least 6 months will get a huge bonus pack. And if you're returning to the channel, check out some of the breakdowns here and our weekly recap from week 1 of the NHL.